Live and free on the Odyssey app. 93.7 The Fan. Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
All right, Joel Nelson for Fan Headlines. Penguins last night fell to Montreal 4-0. They'll be back at it tonight in Pittsburgh at 7 o'clock. Steelers today take on the Detroit Lions, 4:25 at Ford Field. Fan Game Day with Paul Alexander will begin after the conclusion of Pitt and Penn State basketball being played in Hershey. That's a noon tip-off right here on The Fan with coverage beginning at 11:30. More headlines at 937thefan.com, and that's a Sunday morning with Josh Roundtree.
Live and local, even on the weekends. Let's go! Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, Pittsburgh's hometown sports station.
It is bright. It is early. It's actually not bright. It's still very dark outside, but I'm up. Joel is up. I'm not sure how up Joel is right now, if I'm being honest, but he is coherent, and that's what's most important when it's a 7 a.m. start on a Sunday morning. I'm Josh Roundtree. This is Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. I'll be with you up until 9. Then, as Joel said, we have more ways to win for a couple of hours. Then Pitt Hoops against Penn State in Hershey at the Giant Center. So that should be fun. So a good day here and a lot going on in the world of sports. There's no shortage of stories right now. And obviously the Steelers with a big one later today in Detroit. I'm very interested in why it seems like the narrative right now is that the Steelers got no shot. I mean, that's the vibe that I've gotten listening to this station this week, the national shows, etc. It seems like everywhere I turn, everyone thinks the Steelers are about to get dog-walked in Detroit. I don't know that that's going to be the case. And if you would have asked me this 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago at this time, before they played Baltimore and won that game and were relatively convincing in the way that they won it, and then went against Miami and were very convincing in the way that they won that against a team that, look, Tua Tagovailoa is just absolutely awful, and he's been benched now for Quinn Ewers. But that team was rolling. They were running the football. They had won 4 straight. They looked like they were kind of putting it all together, and the Steelers stomped them. If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago how the Steelers would fare in Detroit, I would have said, the Buffalo game, it might be even worse than that. I mean, that's, I think, a realistic look at that point of what this game was going to be. I'm not so sure that's the case anymore. But the interesting thing is that a lot of folks seem to think that the Lions are going to look like Oregon last night or Ole Miss yesterday afternoon, and the Steelers are going to be JMU or Tulane. Again, I don't know that that's going to be the case. Lions are favored. I don't disagree with that. They have a dynamic offense that against a good Rams team a week ago put up a bunch of points. I get that. I'm concerned that the Steelers will try to pick their poison defensively. Do you stop Jahmyr Gibbs? Do you stop Amon-Ra St. Brown? And They might not stop either, but the other one, the one that they decide to not focus on as much, is going to absolutely torch them. As we sit right now, the Steelers are 6.5-point dogs in Detroit. Here's the thing, though. I think people are maybe forgetting. And look, am I going to be surprised if the Steelers go lose like a 40-24 game? No. It wouldn't surprise me because, well, nothing with Mike Tomlin's team surprises me anymore. But the last few weeks, the last 2 weeks, I should say, the Steelers have found, I think, different ways to win games. It's not like they have had one recipe to win. They've been able to throw the ball down the field. You go back to the Baltimore game, they were able to really stretch the field with DK Metcalf. They stretched the field with Calvin Austin. They were able to attack Baltimore's corners. They took what was given to them and they took shots. They stretched the field. Aaron Rodgers was very, very sharp, and the offense clicked. And they went and won a game in which, I mean, let's be real here, nobody thought they were going to go in. No one thought they were walking into Baltimore against Lamar Jackson, against Derrick Henry, and winning that football game. I mean, and rightfully so. The last time that we saw them walk into Baltimore, they got walked all over by Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson and company, and they got blown out of the water. They gave up 300 rushing yards. So, yeah, I did not think that this team, particularly coming off of the game that they had against Buffalo, where there were fire Tomlin chants and they were booing Renegade, and everything was collectively melting down into a puddle all at once, like Frosty the Snowman. There's your Christmas reference for the morning. They were still able to go in there and find a way to win. And they did it impressively to seize control of the AFC North. The following week, there were a lot of people that were picking Miami to win, right? I heard it on this station. I heard it elsewhere. Even though the Steelers had won like 11 billion Monday Night Football home games in a row, everyone thought Miami was going to come in here and spoil that. The doubters, I think, still existed. And what do the Steelers do? They really kind of just dominate Miami. I mean, the Dolphins scored a couple late to make that thing look somewhat respectable, but it was 28-3 with 9:42 left in the game. And in that one, they once again found somewhat of a different way to win. Kenny Gainwell running the football. Pops a big run. They go for 135 on the ground. Aaron Rodgers, very sharp once again. Very efficient. They go back. They play cover two. They're playing a shell. And Rodgers says, you know what? I'm not going to make the mistakes that the dum-dum on the other side keeps making in Tua Tagovailoa, and I'm just going to take what's given to me. I'm not going to throw the bad pick. I'm not going to take the bad sack, even though he was sacked 3 times. I thought, in general, he did well composing himself in the pocket, particularly with a fourth-string left tackle out there for the Steelers. So he takes what's given to him. He goes 23 of 27 for 224 yards. Now, not a ton of yards, but he doesn't turn the ball over. He does hit Metcalf for an impressive touchdown where Metcalf threw Minkah Fitzpatrick into the Allegheny River and then just sprinted his way into the end zone. And he got a collective effort. Gainwell, huge. They got Freiermuth involved finally in the second half. The oh-so-coveted tight end position has never looked more effective for the Steelers than it did this past weekend. I mean, hell, you had 2 tight ends run for touchdowns for the first time in NFL history. Connor Hayward is the new Jalen Hurts, kinda. Jonnu Smith looked like Derrick Henry taking a sweep out of the backfield somehow. Darnell Washington had 3 catches. Pat Freiermuth had 3 catches. You got all 4 of those guys involved. The Steelers found a different way to beat their opponent and do so convincingly. Keep in mind here, this is a team that has not really had very many convincing wins over the years. Particularly these last 4 or 5 post-Ben Roethlisberger years. Have there been many where you're like, all right, it's mid-4th quarter. Maybe I can get up and go grab a snack and not be strapped to the edge of my seat. Maybe I can bounce around and see what else is going on in the NFL because the Steelers got this one secure. There hasn't been a game like that very often for the Steelers. Now, they very late let Baltimore kind of get back into that game, and they nearly cost themselves that one. But at one point in that game, they were up 20-9 in Baltimore. And then again, up 28-3 against the Dolphins. All of this is to say, are we maybe disrespecting the Steelers a little bit here by saying that they are about to go get absolutely smoked in Detroit? Look, I'm worried about Detroit's offense. I can't deny that. Jahmyr Gibbs is unbelievable. Jared Goff is having an incredible year. Once again, he is really, really good. Amon-Ra St. Brown is among the best wide receivers in all of football. So there's reasons for concern there. TJ Watt's not going to play, and there's more to come on that in our next segment because, oh boy, a big-time report has come down. Well, I don't know. It's a little vague, but it seems like the reading that I get on it is that it's pretty meaningful involving TJ Watt. We'll tell you about that in a bit. But I don't know. Maybe I'm starting to believe a little bit in these Pittsburgh Steelers because of what they've done the last 2 weeks. It's like they got themselves backed against the wall. They knew that everybody, even their own fans, were essentially against them when they heard the chance to have their head coach fired. And it's like something snapped, something clicked, a light bulb went on for these Pittsburgh Steelers where all of a sudden they've become, I think, one of the better-looking teams in the NFL over the last 2 weeks. Post-Buffalo, how many teams have looked as strong as the Steelers? There's a handful, but they have to be up there in that mix. Like, I think Buffalo looks really, really good right now. And I would not want to see Buffalo if I'm the Steelers in the postseason, and that very well could be the case if they are able to win the division. But I would put the Steelers up there with one of the better performing teams over the last 2 weeks. In the month of December, they've been able to unleash hell. Hello, Mike Tomlin. They win at Baltimore. Nobody thought they were winning that game. And then Miami, the game that a lot of people thought that they could get, upset or whatever you want to call it because, well, Miami was playing really well at the time. They go out there and absolutely obliterate them. And they've done it in different ways. That's what impresses me the most. That's what has me thinking that perhaps there is a way here for the Steelers to go to Detroit and win a football game. How are they going to do that? I think the number one way that they're going to go win this football game in Detroit, if they are able to, just after 4 o'clock this evening, is they are going to have to score and score in bunches. They're going to have to score points. They're going to have to win an old-fashioned shootout. And my concern is that just ain't Mike Tomlin. That is not what he likes. That's not what he prefers. That is not what Mike Tomlin wants to do. He does not want to go play a back and forth tennis match type of football game where, maybe the final score, I liken it to a game last year against the Bengals, 44-38, right? The Steelers go to Cincinnati, and they beat the Bengals in Cincinnati by scoring 44 points. They throw it all over the place. Everyone thought, Joe Burrow throws for over 300 yards in that game. Cincinnati runs the ball pretty well. And you're thinking, even though the Bengals were struggling last season, that is a game that favors Cincinnati. But the Steelers found a way to do it just a little bit better than Cincinnati. They found a way to get one or two extra stops, and they found a way to win the ballgame. That's, I think, the recipe for the Steelers today. It's toss the grind-it-out, low-scoring, defensive battle strategy out the window, and it's go unleash your weapons galore like you say that you have. You got all these tight ends. You saw it last week. All these things these guys can do. Freiermuth, this should be a massive game for Pat Freiermuth, going up against a secondary that is really, really banged up and really, really thin. A guy like Freiermuth should be on the field a hell of a lot more than he has been of late. I mean, he really didn't even play in the first half against Miami. And when he did go in, he made a couple of nice plays. He should be in there a lot. He should be active. The tight end position should be active. DK Metcalf should be getting deep ball targets on just about every series that the Steelers run later on today. Calvin Austin should be getting looks. Jaylen Warren and Kenny Gainwell out of the backfield. Do what the Lions do to others. Use your weapons in fun, exciting ways. I think the Steelers have that capability. I think we've seen some flashes of it over the last couple of weeks. The only way I think that the Steelers beat the Lions today is if they go to Detroit and say, we are going to out-Detroit the Detroit Lions. We are coming into your building, and we are going to do to you what you plan to do to us. And the Steelers have to go win a high-scoring football game today. There's no way, I think, around it. I don't think that they can go up there and expect to win a 17-16 field goal battle type of contest. I don't see a 19-14 final score for the Steelers today. It's far more likely to me, and I know I've been talking about how I feel like they have a chance. It's far more likely to me, that the Steelers get trounced later on today by Detroit than it is that they win a low-scoring football game today. Part of that is their health. Part of that is no TJ Watt, no Nick Herbig. There's some attrition, to quote Mike Tomlin, going on with that Steelers team, particularly from a pass rush standpoint, which seems to be a really big factor when you're taking on a team that can do the things that Detroit can do offensively. So how do you mitigate a defense that is struggling with health and availability and probably is going to give up a good amount of points today? You go and you score points yourself. You got to turn Aaron Rodgers loose. The old Aaron Rodgers, the discount double-checking gunslinger out of Green Bay, that needs to be the guy that the Steelers put out on the field today. Not necessarily the Dinkin and the Duncan. It's the guy that's taking the shots down the field. And yes, you take what is given to you. You find ways to use all of these playmakers that we were all so excited about these last couple years, all these tight ends that can do these things. Then they go get DK Metcalf, and you got Freiermuth, and you got Warren, and now Gainwell, who's been, I think, their MVP to this point in a lot of ways. And you take these weapons that you have, and you say, hey, Detroit, you guys got weapons? We do too. And you go win a 44-38 game like you did last year against another dynamic offense in Cincinnati. That's the game that the Steelers have to play today. That's the game that the Steelers have to win today. And if the Steelers do not win today, I am telling you this right now. If they do not win today, the division will come down to Week 18 against the Ravens. Everybody, like they did when the Steelers played at the Ravens, is writing off Baltimore's chances to beat the Patriots later today. Not so fast, my friend. I think that the Ravens tonight on Sunday Night Football will beat the Patriots. And if the Steelers lose this afternoon, we could be looking at a scenario where in a week's time, the Steelers could theoretically be down in the division, having to win the final week of the season. Either way, they might have to win because of tiebreakers in that final week. I've heard a lot of people say this game is today for the Steelers is somewhat inconsequential because of the next two games that are to come. Do you really want to take the risk of walking into Sunday Night Football, perhaps, if that game gets flexed late, Steelers-Ravens, on a Sunday night for the division? Look, we've been down that path before, but the Steelers had prime Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, guys like that. I'm not saying this is a bad offense for the Steelers, but it ain't that. And I'm not wanting to see the Ravens that final week in what would essentially be a playoff game for the AFC North. I think the Steelers have to do all they can right now to try to win the division these next 2 weeks. I do think that the Ravens are going to beat the Patriots tonight at home. I don't think that New England walks into Baltimore and comes away with a victory. Look, respect to New England, what they have done this year. They have been the surprise team of the league. They're 11-3. They played very well last week, but lost to the Bills. But who have they really beat here of late? The Giants, the Bengals, which, if I'm not mistaken, Burrow did not play. It was Flacco that played in that game, and Jake Browning. And they only won by 6 points. They beat the Jets. They beat the Bucs, who are slumping. They beat the Falcons, who I just don't think are all that good. They beat the Browns, the Titans, and the Saints. That's what they have done. That's been their schedule since they won at Buffalo 23-20. Look, you win the games that are put in front of you, but the Patriots haven't exactly been they haven't been going and beating the upper echelon teams in the NFL. They have not beaten the great teams, except for that early season win against the Bills. I think the Ravens beat them later tonight, and that makes this afternoon's game all that more important. The Steelers, I think, need to win this game against Detroit, and they need to do it by being Detroit. They need to take a little bit of the medicine that Dan Campbell and his knee biters give out, and they need to apply that to Detroit, and they have to go win a high-scoring football game.
Real quick, regarding the playmakers you've been talking about, I just looked up real quick. DK Metcalf has gotten 60 or more receiving yards in 4 games, which doesn't feel like enough. Steelers 4-0 in those games.
Yeah.
Kenneth Gainwell has scored a touchdown in 4 games, a couple of those with multiple touchdowns, but in the 4 games that he has scored a touchdown in, Steelers 4-0.
There you go.
You know?
Good stats. And Joel, I just can't fathom a way. And there's been a lot of times in the past where this has been the case, where the Steelers have been able to play their game to tight, low score. That doesn't seem like their recipe to win games anymore. It seems like these last couple of weeks, look, defense is part of the equation, but they need to go score. The Lions, you look at the Lions' final scores of late. They lose to the Rams 41-34. The week before that, they beat the Cowboys 44-30. The week before that, they play a 31-24 game. They lose to the Packers. The week before that, they scored 34 against the Giants. Now, the Eagles kept them to 16-9, but I don't think that the Steelers can replicate right now, given their health standpoint what the Eagles have to do. They scored 44, the Lions did, against the Commanders. They played a higher scoring game, 27-24 against the Vikings. 37-24 against the Bengals, 34-10 against the Browns, 38-30 against the Ravens. They scored 52 points against the Bears, who, oh, by the way, did you catch that miraculous finish last night for Chicago? They look really good. So I know that it's a team that's coming in, Detroit, with the same record as the Steelers, but what they are capable of doing offensively, that's why they're the favorite. And the only way that the Steelers are going to be able to keep up, I think, with Detroit is if they go and get very, very, very aggressive. I'm talking fourth downs, got to go for it in a lot of situations today. I'm talking deep shots to DK Metcalf, to Calvin Austin, balls over the middle to Pat Freiermuth. You got to take advantage of a limping, thin secondary that Detroit has and score a ton of points. And I think it could be a really, really fun football game. I think this has the making of one of the more entertaining games of the year. And I think it's really important that the Steelers find a way to go get an upset win today in Detroit, because if they do that, they could very well be in the driver's seat, depending on what happens on Sunday Night Football. Although, as I said, I do think that it's going to be a Ravens victory tonight against the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. On the other side of the break, I want to get into this report that has come out on TJ Watt, and it is, I think, a doozy. It came out late last night. We'll tell you about that on the other side of the break. The Fan Text Line brought to you by Edgar Snyder & Associates, a personal injury law firm where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. Great to be with you on this Sunday morning. Jeff Hathhorn's going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour as he is driving to Detroit. So we'll talk to him. We'll get all caught up with what's going on as the Steelers get ready to take on the Lions later today. But a big day of sports going on. Do the Penguins play later as well? Are they in action? I haven't even looked.
Yeah, they're playing Montreal again.
That's right. They got
at home
that's right.
at 7. I'll be there tonight. Can't wait.
So we got that. We got Steelers Lions. We got Pitt Penn State. We got Pitt Duquesne women's basketball today as well. I'll be there on the call for that one. And then we got massive football games going on. Plus, we're coming off of the college football playoff. I want to talk a little bit about that yesterday, what happened. So we got a lot going on here this morning. Great to be with you. I'm Josh Roundtree. This is Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Pitt and Penn State are playing at Hershey at noon on the hardwood, and it's right here on the Fan with coverage beginning at 11:30, and after the conclusion of that game will be Fan Game Day, hosted by Paul Alexander, leading you into the 4:25 kickoff of Steelers-Lions. Later tonight, Sunday Night Football, Patriots at the Ravens, pivotal game for the Steelers. In that one, kickoff 8:20, and it's right here on the Fan via Westwood One with coverage at 7:30. Headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville. For more, go to 937thefan.com.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Get the latest on Pittsburgh sports from anywhere with the Odyssey app. Listen to shows and Pirate Games live. Check out our exclusive interviews and content anytime. Download the Odyssey app now and never miss a minute. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Whether it's due to job loss, a divorce, a new business venture, or you just didn't file your taxes, don't lose hope. Powerful relief programs are now available that can help you and may reduce or even eliminate what you owe the IRS. With the cost of living affecting millions across the country, Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying anyone with $5, $50, or even $500,000 in back taxes to the IRS to call to get relief options. With over 1,000 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, TRA is America's trusted choice for real tax relief. Relief options are now available that can give you a fresh start and peace of mind. End your tax nightmare today by calling our tax relief hotline. Dial 800-390-8432. 800-390-8432. That's 800-390-8432. Or visit TRA.com. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is certified elder law attorney Julian Gray, and I've been helping Pittsburghers for 30 years navigating the legal issues surrounding aging. Get ready for your retirement years and what lies ahead with a no-obligation consultation. Visit grayelderlaw.com.
This holiday season, before you unwrap new projects around your home, remember one simple gift you can give yourself: safety. If you're planning a holiday project like building a patio, putting up a fence, a basketball net, or mailbox, contact 811 before you dig and have underground utilities marked. Pennsylvania One Call makes it quick and easy, helping you avoid costly damages and keeping your holidays bright. So before your next project, contact 811 or visit pa1call.org before you dig. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
What's up, Black and Gold fans? It's time to renew your backyard with Schlei Deck and Fence. Did you get a quote this summer that was just too high? Give us a call. We're the pros on defense, intercepting all the high prices. We have specials on big decks and small decks. At Schlei Deck and Fence, we take the hassle out of it by keeping it simple, affordable, and reliable. Call 412-515-6575 or visit our website, schleidcompany.com, schly.company.com.
Hey, it's Andrew Filipponi from the FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook partner of 93.7 The Fan, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. NFL Sunday will be here before you know it, and you've got everything you need. Your friends, your couch is all ready to go, your snacks, and all the big games. And FanDuel is coming in with something extra. Not just another NFL Sunday, it's your chance to place that perfect parlay or hit your go-to player prop. And now, FanDuel is going to make it even better because this week, FanDuel is bringing the bonus. Right now, all customers can get a 50% profit boost on any NFL bet. My pick is the Steelers to upset the Lions in Detroit. I really think it's going to happen. I think Detroit's overrated. I think their defense stinks, and I like Aaron Rodgers to go there and do what he's done many times, beat the Lions in Detroit. So get to FanDuel today, FanDuel.com/Andrew to download the app and get in on the action before kickoff. 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. Opt-in required. Bonus issued is now double profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration to max wager amount. See terms. Sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
With the holidays upon us, the staff at Cedarbrook Golf Course, always affordable, great place to play, would like to thank their loyal customers. The weather this summer was tough on all golf courses in the area. It truly was. Tough to keep them up, but Cedarbrook did an unbelievable job, and their staff can't say enough about their loyal golfers. As winter approaches, Cedarbrook will continue to make improvements for 2026. Cedarbrook Golf Course, the leader in affordable quality golf.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Unwrap your savings during the Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi Holiday Exchange season. Drive home a new 2025 Outlander for 0% APR for 60 months or get an Outlander PHEV for 0% APR for 72 months. Upgrade today during the year-end sales event. Your deal, your way. What a great day at Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi. Call 724-209-8075 for offer details.
Hey Pittsburgh, it's Chris Muller here with some big news. Verizon, America's best 5G network, wants you to bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill, and they'll give you a better deal. If you think Verizon is expensive, well, think again. Not only does Verizon let you lock in your low price for 3 years, everyone in the family can mix and match their plans with My Plan. And they let everyone get the same great phone deals when they trade in an eligible phone in any condition on My Plan. That means new and existing customers. That's more reasons to save, more reasons to switch. Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to your local Pittsburgh Verizon store, and they'll give you a better deal. Rankings based on Root Metrics Root Score Report dated first half 2025. Your results may vary. Must provide a postpaid consumer mobile bill dated within the past 45 days. Bill must be in the same name as the person redeeming the deal. 3-year price lock applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms apply to promotional offers. See Verizon.com/switch to Verizon.
This New Year's Eve, escape to Margaritaburg at Rivers Casino. Kick off your flip-flops, And join us on Wednesday, December 31st for Island Vibes. Live music, party favors, drawings, a midnight confetti celebration, and more. Visit riverscasino.com for full details and waste away the last hours of the year. Rivers Casino style. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Live from the ShoreKeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills.
Fan Twitter brought to you by South Hills Kia in Peters Township. Visit them at southhillskia.net. Josh Roundtree in this morning until 9 o'clock. Joel Nelson behind the glass. We have Jeff Hathorn coming up just after 8 o'clock here today as well, as the Steelers get ready to play the Lions. But it's a big sports weekend in general. College football playoff going on yesterday and Friday. Everyone's all up in arms because the teams that are bad were bad in the grand scope of the college football playoff, even though they are, relatively good teams overall, JMU and Tulane. But I want to keep the Steeler talk rolling here. I told you, I think that for the Steelers to win, they have to go play a high-scoring game. They have to score a bunch of points. They need to score in bunches. It's the only way that they're going to beat Detroit today. And I do think that they can. I do think that they'll hang around. I will reserve my pick for the end of the show today. But I do think that the Steelers are going to be quite competitive this afternoon, even without their best defensive player being TJ Watt. And this came in late last night. I woke up this morning. First thing I saw when I opened Twitter was this. Posted at 11:40 last night from Adam Schefter. And this is what he tweeted. After missing 2 games due to a partially collapsed lung, TJ Watt's return to play remains murky and uncertain per sources. Watt's focus has been on getting healthy from his partially collapsed lung. Returning to play is secondary and has not been his focus. Doctors will assess how he feels next week to see if there's even a chance to play in Week 17, but ideally Watt gets more time to recover from his lung injury that resulted in him being ruled out of Sunday's game versus Detroit. Joel, in this business, we do a lot of reading between the lines. When you hear that report from Adam Schefter, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you with the status of TJ Watt going forward?
It's almost like we should maybe approach it like it's, I don't know, not personal reasons, but, along those lines where it's some sort of non-football injury-related thing, and
I get the sense that TJ Watt doesn't want to play football again this year.
I kind of get that too. Maybe he comes back for Baltimore Week 18 if the division is not secured, but one of those where there's no sense of urgency in getting him back.
The line that really gets me is Watt's focus has been on getting healthy from his partially collapsed lung. Returning to play is secondary and has not been his focus.
This sounds like something you would hear about in like Week 4, Week 5, and not Week 16.
I don't want to take anything out of the context of this report, but this coming in at 11:40 at night. First of all, this entire thing has been bizarre, and I have to put this out there. Like, what the hell is going on with this? How did this happen? Who's responsible for this happening? Is TJ Watt not happy with the Steelers because this happened? Why did TJ Watt use his brother as some sort of liaison between this situation and his Twitter? First of all, that was very odd to me as well. I just want to put that out there. Very odd to me that a guy who is a color analyst, and I know that they are brothers, but he is a color analyst for the NFL on CBS. Why is he the one putting out a statement for the Watt family, essentially, on what happened? That whole thing was very interesting. I mean, TJ Watt you would think has the capabilities of putting that message out there. And it seemed very targeted and very direct when J.J. Watt tweeted out that it was a dry needling treatment session at the facility. Like, it was like very directed that this happened at the Steelers facility. It was treatment that was being given. I don't know. The whole thing struck me as odd when I saw J.J. Watt tweet it out to begin with. It just seemed weird. And the Steelers' reaction to it has been very odd, where it's almost like they're petrified of even talking about it. Mike Tomlin's been very skittish about bringing anything up involving it. He's been really, I think, doing a nice job of deflecting. I don't know. There's something off with this whole situation. And now we have this. Watt's focus has been on getting healthy from his partially collapsed lung, returning to play as secondary, and has not been his focus. Look, this is a serious thing. Collapsed lungs are nothing to be scoffed at here. I get that. I get that this is a serious health matter. And yes, getting healthy for anybody dealing with what could have been a life-threatening situation should be the play. But it's not that aspect of it. It's Adam Schefter essentially citing sources, which, I mean, come on. Like, I think we know who the sources are here. It's probably the Watt party. And it seems like they are putting it out there right now that this guy might not play football again this season. That they are setting the table for Watt to miss the rest of the year because of this treatment injury. You know, a similar situation happened a few years ago with Tyrod Taylor. Now, that wasn't dry needling. That was an injection that punctured his lung. There ended up being a lawsuit. I think we had Florio on with the PM team the other day, and I heard him say, you know, nothing really ever came out about that because there was a lawsuit between Taylor and the team doctor or whatever, and it was what it sounds like settled privately because nothing ever came out from it. And typically when things don't come out, it means that there was a settlement, people just sort of forgot about it, life goes on. I think it's fair to wonder if having J.J. Watt put this message out to begin with details on exactly what happened and where it happened, Mike Tomlin's unwillingness to discuss T.J. Watt's injury and what happened, the Steelers not really putting out any sort of formal statement or issuing anything really publicly about what happened with Watt. And now we have this report out that his return to play remains murky and uncertain. He's not focusing on returning to play, just getting healthy. Doctors are going to assess how he feels, and then they're going to see how things go after next week. I mean, he's for sure not going to play in Cleveland. I mean, that seems almost a guarantee at this point. Can he get back by Baltimore? What type of player are you going to get back by when it's time for Baltimore? I mean, at that point, you're talking about, what, a month nearly since the injury?
And probably be on like a snap count or have snaps monitored at least.
On top of that, you got Herbig out as well. Herbig's not playing today. And I would imagine he's not going to overnight become 100%. The guy on the other side, Alex Highsmith, who I think has played really well here, is a prime suspect to get hurt every single game. And we know he's not 100% because he's been banged up throughout the year. All this is to say, I'm not sure that we're going to see T.J. Watt play football for the Steelers again this season. And that might mean that he doesn't play in a playoff game if the Steelers get there. The way that this has been handled by the Watt party, and now with Adam Schefter's sources, the Watts, it just leads me to believe that this guy's not really all that interested in getting back on the football field anytime soon. That's not what he's thinking about.
This seems like one of those deals where if you're very close to the situation, there might be some brutal details regarding all of this, or information that you never want to hope gets public.
Yeah, and I think, and I don't know if that's the Steelers' end of it or the Watt end of it.
Sure.
Like, who is responsible for this happening? Ultimately, that question does need to be answered at some point. I mean, who punctured the best player on the team, the highest player on the team? Who punctured the guy's lung? Why did it happen? What caused it? Who's responsible? And why is one side of this, the team, basically running away from anything involving this, and the Watt family seeming to be very, very upfront and public with exactly what's going on, why it happened, where it happened, without naming who exactly is responsible. This happened with Tyrod Taylor. There was a lawsuit between he and a team doctor. Are we heading down a path where something from this lingers and hangs over the Watt-Steelers relationship going forward? Now, there's 40 million reasons why that relationship should be mended every year. But I think it's fair to wonder what's going on with TJ Watt right now.
Wouldn't it be nice to be a fly on the wall inside the Steelers building? You know?
It is. And look, this is a serious situation. Like, I don't want to sit here and say, like, you know, football man must play football. Like, I get it. He had a punctured lung. That's serious. That is a very, very serious thing. And when it comes to the human being, I want to see TJ Watt get healthy. I don't want to see this potentially end his career, end his life. Like, I'm not saying that we need to risk TJ Watt's life getting back for, you know, week 17 against the Cleveland Browns. It's just the way that this has all been coming out leads me to believe that Watt might be ready to shut himself down for the year and then reassess things going forward because of all this happening. It's been the upfront nature of the reports that have come out really all being on the Watt side of this and nothing really being on the Steelers side of this. And I'm not trying to paint Watt out to be the bad guy here by any means. Somebody made a mistake here. Watt might be involved in that. I don't know. He might not be involved in that. I don't know. But seeing this report come out at 11:40 on a Saturday night from the top NFL insider in the world saying that Watt is not focused on returning to play, he's just focused on getting healthy, that has my antennas up. That has me concerned that the Steelers might not get back the guy that is probably their best hope if they're going to win a playoff game against a team like, say, Buffalo, because you got to have all hands on deck and you got to have your best defensive player on the field to try to slow down Josh Allen. You might really need him as well against Detroit or against Baltimore. I mean, he played the run well against Baltimore in that first game. They got gashed a little bit, but he had some big run stops throughout the course of that game, and they need him to set the edge. I think this is concerning, to say the least. I think it's alarming, without a doubt. And I see the reports, the initial one from J.J. Watt that was, to me, quite strange to have a player's brother, yes, but also one of the top NFL color analysts in the country to come out and put a statement out on behalf of his brother saying that his injury occurred at the team's facility. I don't know. The whole thing now with Schefter getting involved in this, saying that, you know, he kind of alluding to he might not play anytime soon, it's making me believe exactly that he might not play anytime soon. He might not play at all this year. It's troubling. 412-928-9370 if you want to hop in. We talked about the Steelers-Lions game earlier. I think the Steelers have one real path to victory here. And there's elements broken down inside of this, but I think their biggest path to victory, they got to score, baby. They got to score. They got to score 40 points, I think, to win today. And I think they can score 40 points and win. I think they're capable of doing that. I don't necessarily think that they will, but I think that they're capable of doing that. I think they can score 40 points. It's just a matter of, are they going to be committed to it? Are they going to be committed to opening up and trying to push the ball down the field? I think the last couple of weeks we have seen a team that is committed to doing exactly whatever it takes and not trying to square peg round hole in offense to victory. I was thinking about this as well, Joel. There have been kind of some low-key, very bizarre Steelers-Lions games over the years. There have been some odd ones. How about, and I wrote a couple of down just off the top of my head, and there's probably a few more. How about the Mason Rudolph-Ben COVID tie?
Yeah, I mean, literally the Sunday night preceding, or rather the Saturday night preceding that game.
That was, I think, my first time that I hosted here on The Fan, was after that game. And that was a very strange situation. Ben kind of left Mason out to dry there and last minute checked out of the game because of COVID. And then Mason, that was a terrible Lions team. And Mason, I would say, led the Steelers to a tie, but he quarterbacked the Steelers to a tie. Coin flip game, Bettis.
That's right.
The coin flip game on Thanksgiving in Detroit. Who can forget that? I mean, that was, I remember I was a kid and I watched it on TV, and it was just such a bizarre situation. You had the game a few years ago where Juju ripped off a 97-yard touchdown.
I was just thinking about that too.
Out of nowhere. 2009, they went up there. Ben threw a pick six, but they still held on to win against a really bad Lions team again. I was actually at that game. It was 75% Steeler fans minimum. And Joel, I accidentally drove into Canada.
Oh.
Accidentally. I think I almost nearly got arrested because I almost drove into Canada without any sort of reason to be going to Canada.
I've been to Detroit, and wherever I was, there was a really big river, and on the other side was Right. Forget how close it is sometimes.
Yeah. I made a wrong turn and ended up going into the customs area, and then made another wrong turn and almost kind of went around the customs area because I was trying to get turned around to get back to Detroit. And I kind of drove into Canada by mistake. And then they came out and they were like, whoa, what are you doing? And I mean, luckily Canadians are friendly. If it had been the other way around, I might have been in a jail cell that night. But the Canadians were like, oh, it's okay, eh? And they let me back into my own country. And then we went to the Steelers-Lions game. The Lions won, and that's the only time I've ever been to Detroit. Was for Steelers-Lions. I think that was 2009. Yeah, Ben threw a terrible pick six, and the 20,000 Lions fans that were in attendance went just ballistic. And then the Steelers still ended up finding a way to win. Sean Swisham was, I believe, the kicker on that team, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds about right.
Well. Yeah. Sean Swisham. Curious to get your thoughts. 412-928-9370 on the other side of the break. TJ Watt, this new report out from Adam Schefter. I'll read it to you again. After missing 2 games due to a partially collapsed lung, TJ Watt's return to play remains murky and uncertain per sources. Watt's focus has been on getting healthy from his partially collapsed lung. Returning to play is secondary and has not been his focus. Doctors will assess how he feels next week to see if there's even a chance to play in Week 17. But ideally, Watt gets more time to recover from his lung injury that resulted in him being ruled out of Sunday's game versus Detroit. There's a lot of key words in there that have my alarms going off. Murky and uncertain on his return to play, focused on getting healthy, returning to play is secondary. It's not been his focus. Doctors will assess next week to see if there's even a chance to play in Week 17. But ideally, Watt gets more time to recover. I mean, he ain't playing If they're already now, a week away, talking about ideally this guy will have more time to recover, he's not going to play football in a week. I am starting to wonder if he's going to play football again this season. Or if this will maybe be something that lingers so long that he's not going to come back. At least not this year. I'm concerned. I also told you as well, if you want to hop in, 412-928-9370, I think the Steelers have a chance to win this game, but only if they score a lot of points. I think they got to score touchdowns, not field goals. This can't be a Chris Boswell 8 field goal game. That's just not going to work. They got to score touchdowns. They got to take shots down the field. They got to exploit a thin secondary that has Avonte Maddox playing safety in it right now. I mean, they're down like 4 guys on IR in their secondary. It's not a good defense. It's a bad defense right now. They give up the 12th most yards, 10th most points in the NFL. I think the Steelers can go up there and be successful today if they go and take advantage of those things. But only if they take advantage of those things. So we'll talk more about that on the other side. I also want to talk about the big Pirates news of the week. The Pirates have made a trade, and people don't hate it at all. What's going on? We'll talk about that on the other side as well. The Assisted Goals Foundation is helping keep kids in hockey. Join us December 27th and 28th at the RMU Island Sports Center Garden Rink during the Nutcracker Tournament for an equipment sale. Shop discounted used gear from 11 to 4 each day. Sale proceeds help support annual scholarships thanks to Play It Again Sports Cranberry Township. The Assisted Goals Foundation helping keep kids in hockey. And fan weather is brought to you by Myers Law Group, Pittsburgh's choice for affordable legal solutions. Sunny skies and temps in the 30s today. Temperature is going to get in the upper 50s on Christmas Day. So much for a white Christmas here in 2025. 412-928-9370. That's the number if you want to hop in. Again, I think the Steelers can win today. Do you? Do the Steelers have a chance to go to Detroit and get a victory? Let me know. 412-928-9370. I'm Josh Roundtree. Good to be with you early on this Sunday morning. This is Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
At noon today, Pitt Hoops takes the hardwood against Penn State, and that game is going to be played in Hershey with coverage on The Fan beginning at 11:30. Following that game, it's Fan Game Day hosted by Paul Alexander, getting you ready for the 4:25 matchup of Steelers and the Lions. Penguins play tonight at 7 against Montreal after they lost 4-0 to the Habs last night. Penguins have dropped 8 in a row. And tonight, Sunday Night Football, Patriots at the Ravens. 8:20 is the kickoff for that. Coverage on The Fan via Westwood 1 at 7:30. Headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville. For more, go to 937thefan.com.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. The Fan is bringing out the big boys for the Fan Game Day. Donnie Football, Mark Cavalli, and Jason Mackey host the enhanced Fan Game Day. The biggest personalities, the hardest working hosts, bringing you all the coverage before the game. The Fan Game Day is brought to you by Rivers Casino. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Westminster College, Verizon, official 5G provider of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Schley Deck and Fence, and Saloni's Italian Bread. The Fan Game Day on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. You listen to them every day. Now you can watch them too on the Fan Video Stream powered by Bowser. Catch your favorite 93.7 The Fan hosts live on the Fan Video Stream. Just hit up 937thefan.com. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. HD1 Pittsburgh, an Odyssey sports station. Live from the Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app. 93.7
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
No gift? No problem. With Target's last-minute gifts, the holidays are a breeze. You can score on the hottest toys, beauty must-haves, chocolatey stocking stuffers, and much more. And if you need it now, no worries. Swing by any Target store today and snag all the stocking stuffers and gifts for the most magical season yet. Step into the holidays, check off everything on your list, and save big on your last-minute gifts. Only at Target. Restrictions apply.
84 Lumber is your one-stop destination for top-quality materials and personalized service. Whether you're a seasoned contractor or a first-time do-it-yourselfer, 84 Lumber is open to the public and ready to help you with your project, from estimate to build. Their 14 Pittsburgh area locations are open on Saturdays for your convenience. Don't wait. Visit your local 84 Lumber to stock up on supplies this weekend. And let's get building together.
Gift the fun and excitement of Keystone Shooting Center this holiday season. Gift cards, memberships, and classes are unique and easy gifting options for any person. Their state-of-the-art facility offers over 600 firearms in stock, premium training, and walk-in friendly ranges. They have something for everyone. Follow Keystone Shooting Center today on social media to be the first to learn of exclusive offers this holiday season. And visit at 925 Sheridan Drive in Mars. Keystone Shooting Center, Pittsburgh's shooting destination.
Folds of Honor has been meeting Sacrifice with Hope since 2019 in Western Pennsylvania. It's their honor to empower people through education and the opportunities it creates. 41% of Folds of Honor scholarships are awarded to minorities, making recipient families as diverse as the country we call home. Folds of Honor has earned the Gold Star Platinum Seal as well as a 4 out of 4 stars ranking on Charity Navigator. You can become a Folds of Honor wingman today at westernpa.foldsofhonor.org. Please donate today. Spitzer Toyota of Monroeville is a proud supporter of Folds of Honor.
It's beginning to look a lot like holidays on the house at DraftKings Casino. Celebrate the season with bright lights and big wins on all your favorite casino games. Spin more than 1,000 slots. Everything from the classics to exclusive new releases. New players get 500 spins over 10 days on your choice of cash eruption slots. Download the DraftKings Casino app and sign up with promo code THEFAN. That's promo code THEFAN. Then choose from 10 different cash eruption slots and let it spin. In partnership with DraftKings Casino, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older. Physically present in Pennsylvania only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Non-withdrawable casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days, valid for featured games only, and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends January 25th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
Just when all the gifts are bought and you don't have another cent, suddenly you see the car of your dreams at the Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram wrap up the year event. Up to $13,000 off MSRP and 0% financing. Oh, yes, it's true. And here we always stock more while others have few. Big discounts and trade values. Any competing offer we will beat. Don't waste your time shopping when no others can compete. So stop by today for all the deals that you crave. CrownJeep.com. Just point, click, and save. Happy holidays. See dealer for details on all offers.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
Text us on the Edgar Snyder & Associates text line at 412-928-9370. Edgar Snyder & Associates reminds you to text responsibly. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, built by Window Nation, home of the buy two, get two free offer.
Got plumbing problems? Call the pros who've been going down the drain since 1969. A quick drain service. Serving the entire tri-state area, they offer expert plumbing, sewer and drain cleaning, plus DOT certified gas, water, and sewer line installation. Senior and military discounts available. available. And get a lifetime guarantee on all sewer and water lines. Need help now? They're available 24/7 at aquickdrain.com. PA license 074216. A Quick Drain service. Fast, reliable, done right.
Hey, it's Andrew Filipponi for the FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel, the #1 sportsbook for same-game parlays. Points, rebounds, threes, and assists. Put them all in that same-game parlay on FanDuel and track all those stats live, all in one super easy-to-use app. And right now, the best time to join because new customers are going to get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins on FanDuel. So bet on the players you love the way you want. Head to FanDuel.com/Andrew to sign up today. There is a lot of NBA action going on. Miles McBride, my wife loved him at West Virginia. He's getting big minutes for the Knicks, putting up good numbers there. They call him Deuce McBride, averaging over 12 points. There's a guy to put in some parlays. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now eligible bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms. Sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
Call 800-838-8614. 800-838-8614. That's 800-838-8614.
Paid for by Airtime Media.
Must finance HMF loan APR tier 1 through 2 plus tax acquisition fee, title, plates, and dealer doc fee. Must finance HMF dealer's choice for Santa Fe rebate. Hybrid models only. Not all buyers will qualify. In stock units only. Offers end January 2nd, 2026.
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event is going on now at Mike Camlin Hyundai. New 2026 Hyundai Tucsons and Santa Fe's. Both available with 0% financing for up to 60 months. Or receive up to $4,250 in rebates. MikeCamlinHyundai.com. All Mike Camlin Hyundais are backed by Owner Assurance, America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. And the Mike Camlin Advantage, oil changes for life.
Your hometown building partner since 1956, 84 Lumber. Visit 84lumber.com.
During football season, people make clutch plays on the BetParx Casino and Sportsbook app. Like Marissa, up early making snacks for game day. She knows there's always another way to win on the BetParx app. Right now, new casino users can get up to $1,000 casino bonus back in their first 24 hours. Plus, get a $50 casino bonus on the new slot game that everyone is talking about, Huff and Lots of Puff.
Must be 21 in PA, New Jersey, or Michigan. New users only. TC Supply. See site for details. Casino bonus must be wagered. Gamble. Problem call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-932-5858. That's 800-932-5858. 800-932-5858.
Upgrade your sleigh at Joe Ball GMC.
Lease a brand new GMC Terrain for $299 a month for 36 months.
$299 for a GMC SUV?
Yep, $299. No one sells for less. Joe Ball GMC, Route 8 Glen Show.
See JoeBallGM.com for details.
Happy holidays from Hellman Electric, your electrical repair and design experts.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Joel Nelson, 4 fan headlines. Penguins tonight take on Montreal at 7 o'clock. Penguins fell to the Canadiens last night 4-0, their 8th loss in a row. Steelers take on the Lions today at 4:25 in Detroit. Fan Game Day with Paul Alexander begins after the conclusion of Pitt basketball against Penn State at noon. Coverage on the Fan of that game begins at 11:30. It's being played in Hershey. More headlines, 93.7thefan.com, and now it's hour number 2 with Josh Roundtree.
93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, Josh Roundtree in this morning until 9 o'clock. We'll be joined by Jeff Hathorn in just a moment. Jeff, who just came into the studio, is now about to hit the road and drive to Detroit for today's Steeler game. I did want to touch on this. The Pirates, they did something good. I mean, I don't think there's any way around this. They trade Mike Burrows, and they get back 3 players that should all help the Major League team this year, including Brandon Lowe, which I wish his name was Brandon Lowe, if I'm being honest, but we'll take Lowe. But Brandon Lowe looks like a guy that will be able to immediately impact this ball club. And when is the last time we saw the Pirates step out and make a move where you were like, okay, this is a guy that, look, we didn't trade our best players for their prospects. We traded one of our, not a prospect in Burrows, but a guy that's still very much up and coming off his first season as a big leaguer, and he pitched well, did Mike Burrows. I was excited about Mike Burrows a couple of years ago before he got hurt and had to have surgery and all that. He came back with a sub-4 ERA this year. I think you're giving up a valuable commodity in a young, controllable, seemingly talented pitcher, but you're doing so from a wellspring of that same commodity. And that's what makes, to me, this deal a really good one for the Pirates. You're getting back a guy, yeah, he's starting to get, into that part of his career where most guys, maybe they start to tail off a little bit. But in baseball, 31 is not necessarily like a death sentence. It just means that the production might start to wane a little bit. But again, this isn't a guy that you're signing for a 4 or 5 year deal. It's a guy that you're bringing in to help your ball club win games, hit home runs, score runs in 2025. And I think that is what Lowe will bring this team. It might not be at the rate that he did a year ago when he hit 31 home runs. It might be more in the 20-25 range, somewhere in there. But this is a guy that's a 2-time All-Star, coming off an All-Star season a year ago. A guy that's nearly had 100 RBIs in a season as well in his career. That was 2021. He has missed a little bit of time over the last few years. He played 134 games last year, 107, 109 the 2 previous seasons. So, yeah, there's 65 the year before that. So there's some injury concern there. However, I do think that if you're the Pirates, you have to take a little bit of a gamble on a guy like that. You have to try to get in a guy that could impact your lineup right away. And I do think that if you're Ben Cherington, you have to break the perception. You have to break the perception that you're not going to actually do anything this offseason, despite all of the talks that you would. Like when all the Kyle Schwarber stuff came out, I, like so many others, thought the same thing. I'll believe it when I see it. When they signed Kyle Schwarber, I'll believe that they were serious about signing Kyle Schwarber. When they do this, when they do that, that's when I will actually start to believe in them being serious about this. Look, adding Lowe isn't going to it's not going to break the bank over on Federal Street. And that's not what I'm saying. But they are taking on, at least for the time being, some payroll. I mean, they are taking on a contract for an established big league bat. They need more of that. They need another big league bat. But this is a guy that's making $11.5 million a year, and it seems like the Pirates are going to pay him $11.5 million to come play baseball for them this year. And he's probably going to be a key part of their lineup. Last year, 31 home runs, a .256 average, 83 RBIs. That's 11 more home runs than anybody on the Pirates had all of last season. That's 10 more RBIs than Brian Reynolds had, who led the team a year ago. So I look at this deal and think they traded from a point of strength in young, controllable starting pitching, and they got back what they so desperately needed in a hitter. They also got other pieces in this that I think will help their team as well. The Mangum part of it is really good. I mean, I think they're in a good spot. Ben Cherington spoke yesterday, and he also made it seem like, and if Joel, you can get the this potted up, he also made it seem like they might not necessarily be done trying to fill out this lineup. And I think that's intriguing. It's intriguing that they're not just going to sit back and say, hey, look, we made our one little $11 million addition. That's going to be that. They're actually willing to maybe show that they're willing to spend at least like a normal-ish team. No one's expecting them to spend like the Dodgers or the Phillies or the Yankees. But could they spend like the Brewers and become a middle-of-the-pack spending team when you have a window that's open? Yeah, this is Ben Cherington, what he had to say about them potentially not being done.
Not surprisingly, we've been pursuing, bats, left-hand bats in all kinds of shapes all off-season. That will continue, I'm sure, as we get through the holidays and into January. Brandon Lau was just one of those, but he was certainly a target that we identified at the beginning of the offseason. We thought he might be available in trade. Felt like he was a particularly good fit for our team for a number of reasons. And so he was just one of the, many possibilities we've been discussing. That started in direct conversations with Tampa. We did work through a number of different scenarios, with a direct trade with Tampa. We were talking to Houston at the same time about other stuff. And, unfortunately with Dana and Houston and Eric and Tampa, those are people that you can be pretty open and transparent with, and just ended up making sense for the three of us to talk. And ultimately this is where it landed. We felt like there was a trade that ultimately was better for all three teams than what we could have come up with in individual direct trades. So basically that's how it happened. I would say the three-team part of it, the interest in Lau has been there all offseason. The three-team part of it probably transpired over the last 5 or 6 days or so.
Yeah, so it leads me to think that they're not settling only for this. That they've been talking to numerous teams. They've been exploring a lot of circumstances. They're not ready to just say, hey, look, it's going to be Lau, and we got Mangum as well, and that's going to be it. I mean, you start looking at their lineup. And by the way, I think, so often you do the big you do the big trade and you get the big name, and then sometimes the throw-in guy actually ends up being a big part of the trade. That's happened a couple of times with the Penguins in their history. Pascal Dupuis, for instance, was a throw-in, I think, to the Marian Hossa trade. He ended up having way more of an impact on the Penguins organization than Marian Hossa certainly ever did. There's been other guys. The Suter Dumoulin trade. I said Dumoulin because that's how Gary Bettman pronounced it on the podium. He mispronounced Brian Dumoulin's name. But Dumoulin ended up having a pretty solid run here in Pittsburgh, probably better than the run that Suter had when they traded Stahl during the NHL draft. So sometimes guys get thrown in to trades, and they are sort of the secondary piece, and they end up having maybe a little bit more of a tangible effect on the team than the headline of the trade. Now, both of these guys are nearing the end of their contract, both Lau and Mangum, but I look at Mangum and I kind of get excited about what he can bring. 27 stolen bases last year, 40 RBIs, a .296 batting average, and a guy that played 118 games. And I think perhaps in a role with the Pirates where you have Lau, you have O'Neal Cruz who can run the bases as well, I think those two guys in your lineup, no matter where you place them, it gives you two really good stolen base threats game in and game out. Whereas I don't know that a lot of teams have like elite base running threats at multiple spots in the top of their lineup. And that makes some things, especially early on last year when they were swiping bags and things like that, I think it makes them more of a threat in winning the way that they're going to have to win, because they're not going to be a team that goes out there and mashes a ton of home runs. They're not going to be a team, even though they've added a guy like Lau, they're not going to be a team that goes out there and leads the league in home runs. They're just not. They have to find ways to manufacture offense, and they have to find ways to win, and they have to do so knowing that they have a pitching staff that is young and extremely, extremely talented that's going to keep games lower scoring. So if you find the breaks, if you find the advantages, and you find ways to win, then I think you're going to have a chance here to maybe be a pretty good outfit, a pretty good ball club in 2025, or 2026 rather. I think so oftentimes we come in here and we gripe and moan, and rightfully so, about the moves that the Pirates have made, but this seems like one that they probably got right. I like Mike Burrows, but they have three other guys that are really young who are coming off their rookie seasons who are probably better than Mike Burrows, and that's not even taking into account the guys that they have that are more veteran, like Keller and Skeens. So I don't want them to trade too much of that young, controllable pitching, because it is such a good commodity that you don't want to just trade it just because you can. But if you're getting back players that can help this team in 2026 win baseball games and potentially get this team over the hump, I don't even know if they've been close to the hump really the last couple of years, but if it can get you close to there, and maybe it's enough to push you over with the great young pitching that you have, then I'm all for it. And I think it's a good move. Let's go to the phone lines. We'll welcome in Dan in Ohio on the Fan. Hi, Dan.
Hey, good morning, guys. That trade with Tampa Bay, that Montgomery, he might be the third player involved. He had 80 strikeouts in 53 innings.
Right.
As a lefty reliever, so they definitely need that. But the thing with the Pirates is they need the players they have to play better. Cruz, Reynolds, Gonzalez, whoever catches, they just got to produce. And you might be able to get one more player, but Horowitz came on a little bit at the end, and I like Flores. I think he'll maybe platoon with Horowitz, but this might be the end of Swinsky. I think at Mangum definitely has to be the fourth outfielder. I think so.
I mean, I sure hope so, man.
Yeah,
it's time.
It's a shame, but that's the way baseball is in that. They caught on to him, and he couldn't produce in that. So, all right, thanks for your help, guys.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Dan.
All right,
appreciate
bye.
it. Dan throwing out multiple innats in there on a real Yinzer Sunday. Love that. Yeah, I mean, look, Jack Sawinski's not a Major League Baseball player. He's just not. I mean, he's got Major League power. He's got the streakiness that maybe, if you could ever hone it in, you're thinking that he might be something. But I think we know who he is at this point in his career. I think we've seen enough, and you can't just keep going down that well thinking that you're going to get a different result. Yeah, I didn't mention the Mason Montgomery part of this as well. I mean, that's another nice addition to this team. You look at his projection for the year, projected to throw 49 innings and have 55 strikeouts. His projection for the year. So, if you get that, plus two guys that you can insert into your lineup, I think you're feeling pretty nice about where you stand right now. Right now, and I saw MLB Network the other day, they put this out, the projected starting lineup right now for the Pirates: O'Neal Cruz in center, Brian Reynolds in right, Brandon Lau at second, Jared Triolo at third, Spencer Horwitz at first base, Nick Gonzalez at short, Justinson Garcia goes to DH, Jake Mangum in left field, and Joey Bart at catcher. To me, that's better, but it's not enough. There's still upgrades I think that you can make in there. There's still bats that you can get in there to help. I think you feel pretty good with where the pitching is at this point. But you got to now go out and grab a couple more bats to round this thing out before you feel like you have a real shot at having a successful team here in 2026. I keep forgetting what year it is. It's almost 2026, but it's still 2025. We're in that weird, this is like a limbo period, Joel. Like nobody actually does anything during these like 2 weeks here. Energy, effort at an all-time low as people are just, holiday spirit taking over. They're eating cookies. They're getting ready for Christmas, all that. We got to get to a break. On the other side, we're going to check in with Jeff Hathhorn. He's on his way to Detroit right now, and we'll get caught up with what is going on for the Steelers, including this report on T.J. Watt. So we'll talk to Jeff about that. I think he has some insight to offer on the Watt Steelers situation as well. Fan Twitter brought to you by South Hills Kia in Peters Township. Visit them at southhillskia.net. Jeff Hathhorn joins us next. I'm Josh Roundtree. This is Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
At noon today, Pitt basketball is in action in Hershey against Penn State. Tip-off set for noon, and coverage on The Fan begins at 11:30. For more, go to 937thefan.com. Headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. You can catch up on the latest Pittsburgh sports news anytime. Just tell your smart device to play Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
93.7 The Fan from Odyssey.
Pittsburgh sports, smart and able. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
So you need last-minute gifts. No judgment. Get an extra 25% off during Kohl's Friends and Family Sale and find great gifts under $20. Like something cozy, something thoughtful, something that says you planned this all along. Yep, you're just one quick trip away from checking off the last gifts on your list. Save now at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles. Offer ends December 24th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
As a detective, I've solved many mysteries, but this one has me stumped.
Why does NJM Insurance remain silent in a world full of catchy jingles?
What are they up to? It's suspicious.
Yet their policyholders all agree.
NJM is amazing. When things go wrong, they do what's right.
But is the world ready for an ad break that's jingle-free? Tune in to Baffling Mysteries, where the story of the missing jingle unfolds.
This fictional podcast is brought to you by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Hey golfers, does this weather have you down? If so, then fill the void at the Turn Club this winter. They offer daytime leagues for as little as $10 per hour. You may simply join yourself, bring a team, or get a large group together, and we will create a league just for you. Winter leagues start in January and last 8 to 10 weeks, finishing just before the weather breaks. Call the Turn Club at 724-789-TURN or go to theturnclubs.com for more information.
December deal drops at Lowe's are wrapping up, but there's still time to snag something worth bragging about. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. And members save an additional $100 on a new and exclusive Samsung French door refrigerator. Now just $18.99. Need new tools? Select tools and accessories are up to 45% off this week. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 12/24. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business?
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more. So you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
You hire our firm, you become part of the family. Nobody messes with family. Get the good guys, Goodrich and Geist.
It's the holiday season, and there's no better time to gather with friends and family and enjoy the great taste of Duquesne Pilsner. Born on Pittsburgh's South Side in 1899, Duquesne has satisfied the thirst of generations of Pittsburghers with its golden body and crisp, refreshing taste. This Pennsylvania brewed lager is now accompanied by a refreshing 96-calorie light beer as well. This holiday season, remember to grab a Duke. Available at better beer retailers near you. Duquesne Pilsner. Cheers.
Honey, I found the perfect place for my parents and us.
Where?
St. Barnabas.
For us, the Woodlands Carriage Home Community. And for my parents, condominium-style living at the Village. My folks will love the Village. There's an indoor mall with shops, restaurants, and more. And we can relax, knowing they're safe and secure.
That's what I plan to do when we move to St. Barnabas. Relax.
Call 724-444-5568 or visit stbarnabascommunities.com.
This New Year's Eve, escape to Margaritaburg at Rivers Casino. Kick off your flip-flops and join us on Wednesday, December 31st for Island Vibes, live music, party favors, drawings, a midnight confetti celebration, and more. Visit riverscasino.com for full details and waste away the last hours of the year. Rivers Casino style. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Unwrap your savings during the Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi Holiday Exchange season. Drive home a new 2025 Outlander for 0% APR for 60 months, or get an Outlander PHEV for 0% APR for 72 months. Upgrade today during the year-end sales event. Your deal, your way. What a great day at Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi. Call 724-209-8075 for offer details.
The Assisted Goals Foundation is helping keep kids in hockey. Join them December 27th and 28th at the RMU Island Sports Center Garden Rink during their Nutcracker Tournament for an equipment sale. Shop discounted used gear from 11 to 4 each day. Drop off equipment to donate between 8 and 10 a.m. and give new life for a young athlete who needs it. Sale proceeds help support annual scholarships. Thanks to partners RMU Island Sports and Play It Again Sports Cranberry Township, the Assisted Goals Foundation, helping keep kids in hockey.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
As we grow older, we all need a little more help. That's why the Elder Law Firm of Julian Gray Associates has a full-time social worker on staff to help you with challenges that lie ahead. To arrange a no-obligation consultation, please visit grayelderlaw.com and grow old with us.
At JeepofPittsburgh.com, it's our wrap-up-the-year sales event. Bring us your best offer on any new Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram truck, and we're going to beat it. No games, easy as that. Visit JeepofPittsburgh.com for all the details. We truly are Pittsburgh's Jeep store.
Live from the Shorkey Mitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills.
Fan text line brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates, a personal injury law firm where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. Steelers-Lions coming up later today, and currently en route is our sports director at 93.7 The Fan, Jeff Hathorn, and Jeff joins us from the car right now. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Good morning, Josh. How are you?
Good. Long time no see.
Yes.
Jeff, is there a go-to road trip snack when you go on all these drives? Do you have something that you go to more often than not to get you through a road trip to an NFL game?
Yeah, that's a good question. Pretzels more than anything, I would say.
You know the pretzels, they'll make you thirsty, though. That's an old Seinfeld adage.
That's all right. I've got beer.
Well, good. Hopefully after you're done driving.
Of course. Yeah.
I like trail mix myself. I'm a big trail mix on a road trip guy. I think it just hits. It just
That's
hits
a good
different.
one.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. Let's get into it. Let's start with the T.J. Watt thing. We talked about it earlier this morning. Adam Schefter with a report late last night that Watt is, and these are the words that Schefter used in his tweet, that murky and uncertain about his return to play right now, according to sources. His focus is on getting healthy from his partially collapsed lung. Returning to play is secondary. It has not been his focus. They're going to assess how he feels next week to see if there's even a chance that he could play in Week 17, but ideally he gets more time to recover from his lung injury that will keep him out today. Joel and I talked about this and how it's interesting that this comes out, that it seems like obviously he's not playing today. Seems like next week very much in doubt as well. Any insight on what this report from Schefter might mean, why it's coming out when it is, and what the immediate future looks like for T.J. Watt getting back to the Steelers for the stretch run here?
Well, I think first thought is that I think there's belief that T.J. is superhuman, and that, Tyrod Taylor took, a month?
Yeah.
Ish to come back, and that, T.J. could do it in a week, which is not the case. I'm not surprised the wording is he's got to get healthy first. I think that's just wording. He was around the Steelers Thursday and was at practice Friday and was having many conversations. Like, he didn't look like a guy that was, I'm done with football, or I'm just going to stay home. Like, he was there and a part of what was going on Friday. And as far as we're all trying to figure out exactly what happened. And I'm not sure. Of all the injuries, this is one that you don't see very often. So there's not a lot of comparables. But I would say I wouldn't be surprised at this point if he doesn't play until Week 17, or maybe not into the postseason if they make it.
Jeff, obviously last week they knew they weren't going to have him, but it was as simple as, hey, look, Nick Herbig gets more snaps. Now Herbig injured as well. Where do they turn from a pass rush standpoint, and how big of a factor is that when you take on a team in Detroit?
What do you mean? DeMarvin Leal. Come on. They've got Jack Sawyer. Kind of drafted him so he could have a redshirt year, but, things happen in the league to where he doesn't get that opportunity to play limited snaps. He's going to have to play a lot of snaps today. They signed Jeremiah Moon, who's a guy who's been with the team previously, so he knows the defense. And the aforementioned DeMarvin Leal are your other options. Now, you can also play around with that a little bit, and you could have Malik Harrison playing a little bit outside. You could move guys around. Like, there are ways that you can form your defense, because base defenses really aren't as big a thing anymore. Everybody's got some type of sub-package. So you can create some kind of sub-package where you can work different guys in to help rush the passer.
Jeff, these teams have the same record. The Steelers are playing, it appears, their best football of the season, given what they've done the last 2 weeks. Why is the perception seemingly that they're about to go up to Detroit and get absolutely smoked today?
Because this is a big game for Detroit. Detroit has 3 games left. They're on the outside of the playoffs right now, trying to get their way in. And they're at home. This is a Super Bowl. This is a team. They were talking about the Lions finally getting that first Super Bowl with this group. There's a lot of pressure on them. I think that's a big part of it. And the other thing is offensively. You could look defensively, and they've got a lot of issues, a lot of that because of injuries. But offensively, they score the most points of anyone in the league, and they do so on a diversity of ways. They can hit you with big plays. They can grind you out. Like, they're a really good offensive team. And I don't know if there's belief even with Steeler fans. The offense has been better, but can they score to a Detroit level?
Is that how they win the game, though, Jeff? My opinion, this is what I started the show with today. I think the only way that they win is if they score 40 points, the Steelers, today. I think they're going to have to score and score in bunches and score touchdowns today. I don't think that they can go into this with the mindset of we're going to field goal and defensive grind it out our way to a victory. I think that they have to go score. They have to score in bunches. They have to throw the ball down the field. Can they do that against Detroit? And is that their best path to victory?
They can, and I agree with you. They do have to score. Listen, I love what I saw from Aaron. I think there are, with the addition of the two veteran receivers, it does seem like a different offense. Aaron trusts them. I think they've run better routes than guys previously, and they're on the same page. And if they continue to find ways to utilize tight ends and Darnell stays healthy, I think that's another key. That no one's got a player like Darnell. I'm not saying he's the best tight end in the league, but no one has someone like that. And Aaron believed in him from the very beginning. You remember, and he's Mercedes Lewis, and people are like, really? With this guy, like, he saw something in him, and he goes to him a lot, and he's been really good in those opportunities. They need to exploit those matchups. You know, how many years we watch the Steelers get exploited by tight ends? The Steelers need to do that to Detroit today, especially when you've got, one of the safeties is Avonte Maddox, who is a really good corner in this league. I don't know how good of a safety he is.
Jeff, how big along those lines is Pat Freiermuth in a game like this? It felt like, I don't know if I even saw him on the field in the first half of last week's game. Then he came in, had 3 catches, and I thought was a bright spot for them and what was a really solid performance overall. Do they need to have him involved more earlier in games?
Yeah, when I look over at the receiving core, there's DK, and then there's 3 tight ends, and then there's a receiver that I'm looking at in order. And I don't understand why they haven't used him in more opportunities, split him out wide, figure out different routes for him to run, because he's got great hands. He can run after catch. I'm with you, Josh. I would love to see them use him more.
Bigger threat to the Steelers, Gibbs or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Yes. St. Brown will hit you with a chunk play just when you're sneaking up on the line of scrimmage to try to figure out Gibbs. And that's the thing with Detroit. I think they have 53 plays of 20 or more yards, and a lot of them are, while some of them have been rushing, they'll gouge you with a couple of big plays in the pass game because people sneak up on the line of scrimmage to slow down that rush game. And that's what the Steelers have to watch for. And you're going to have, Asante Samuel, who's a cool story. People know his name probably more because of his father than because of him. But he's going to get a big opportunity to, not just for today, but to set himself up for a contract somewhere in the NFL.
Talking with Jeff Hathorn, our sports director here at 93.7 The Fan. Does it become defensively perhaps a pick-your-poison type of game then? You eliminate, maybe Gibbs, but you kind of take a chance with the receivers downfield. Is that kind of how they go at this from a strategy standpoint?
I think so. And, I thought they tackled as well as they've had all year against Miami, and that's been an issue for them in some games. They need to be on it because Detroit's going to spread you out, and they're going to cause problems where it's going to be hard to gang tackle because of all the different things that they're going to bring at you. Obviously, when it's a run play, everybody can get at the football, but it's not going to be as easy as putting 8 in the box. It's just not going to be that way.
Jeff, what does your gut tell you today? What happens between the Steelers and the Lions?
Yeah, this is, like I said, a monster game for Detroit. They're at home. 2 good performances. I don't know if I'm convinced yet that the Steelers are that level of football team, so I think Detroit wins. I'll say the Steelers do score, so I'll say 38-30.
38-30, there you have it. I think it is going to be a high-scoring game. Jeff, enjoy the pretzels, and back when you get home very late tonight, maybe a beer as well. Appreciate it, as always. Have a safe trip.
All right, thanks, Josh.
All right, that is Jeff Hathorn joining us here on the Fan Hotline. 38-30. I could see that playing out that way. I think the question about 38-30 or a game like that, like let's say the Steelers lose 27-24 even. Do you come out of this feeling like relatively good about the result? if you go up there and you're competitive against one of the best offenses in the league and maybe, they kick a late field goal and beat you or something like that, I mean, yeah, there's probably going to be things that you take away from the game that you're frustrated about. But overall, if you look at a 3-week stretch where you win in Baltimore, you beat handedly a hot Miami team at home, and then you go to Detroit and you play very well and maybe have a chance to win that game, I think you come out of there saying, hey, look, this team might be capable of winning in the postseason if it can get there. I do think that you get encouraged by that. You might be frustrated with whatever happens that leads to the loss in the game, but I think we're having a different conversation on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week about what happened if they do keep it relatively close and it's like a 27-24 game or 26-23, something like that. I think you feel okay about it.
It's going to be much different than the Bills game from a few weeks ago. Much, much different.
Yeah.
One of those losses where you're not...
It's not all hope is lost.
Yeah. One of those deals where just, they played head-to-head, and Detroit was just the slightly better team.
Right.
But
and I think, Detroit playing at home, Goff, what he can do indoors, I think that all plays a role. It's certainly – I don't think that people are going to come out of this game, unless they get absolutely routed. People are not going to come out of this game with – Tomlin's got to go. This is a complete disaster. I think they've earned themselves a little bit of grace these last couple of weeks in that regard. However, if they go up there and get blasted, I think all those things start again. That this team can't play with the really good teams in the league. That all of that is going to start once again. We're going to get to a quick break. On the other side, some final thoughts before we hand it off to more ways to win. And I'll give you my prediction for today's game as well. Thanks to Jeff again for joining us on the Fan Hotline. I'm Josh Roundtree, back with more here on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. The Fan is bringing out the big boys for the Fan Game Day. Dunny Football, Mark Cavalli, and Jason Mackey host the Enhanced Fan Game Day. The biggest personalities, the hardest working hosts, bringing you all the coverage before the game. The Fan Game Day is brought to you by Rivers Casino. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Westminster College, Verizon, official 5G provider of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Schley Deck and Fence, and Saloni's Italian Bread. The Fan Game Day on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
At noon today, Pitt basketball is in action. They'll take on Penn State, being played in Hershey. Coverage on The Fan begins at 11:30. For more, go to 937thefan.com. Headlines powered by Bowser Genesis of Monroeville.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan gets your day started with the latest in Pittsburgh sports with the Fan Morning Show with Doran Dickerson and Adam Crowley. Weekdays 5:40 to 10. Presented by Guardian Protection on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
It's beginning to look a lot like holidays on the house at DraftKings Casino. Celebrate the season with bright lights and big wins on all your favorite casino games. Spin more than 1,000 slots. Everything from the classics to exclusive new releases. New players get 500 spins over 10 days on your choice of cash eruption slots. Download the DraftKings Casino app and sign up with promo code THEFAN. That's promo code THEFAN. Then choose from 10 different cash eruption slots and let it spin. In partnership with DraftKings Casino, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older. Physically present in Pennsylvania only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Non-withdrawable casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days, valid for featured games only, and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends January 25th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
Must finance HMF loan APR tier 1 through 2 plus tax, acquisition fee, title, plates, and dealer doc fee. Must finance HMF dealer's choice for Santa Fe rebate. Hybrid models only. Not all buyers will qualify. In stock units only. Offers end January 2nd, 2026.
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event is going on now at Mike Camlin Hyundai. New 2026 Hyundai Tucsons and Santa Fe's. Both available with 0% financing for up to 60 months. Or receive up to $4,250 in rebates. MikeCamlinHyundai.com. All Mike Camlin Hyundais are backed by Owner Assurance, America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. And the Mike Camlin Advantage, oil changes for life.
This week's Game Time Sports Update is brought to you by Bet365.
Monday night's premier matchup heads to Minneapolis this week, where they'll host San Francisco, who are riding their momentum from a statement win last week, while Indianapolis is hoping to bounce back from last week's loss and defend their home turf. This matchup is sure to be a high-stakes battle for playoff position for both teams.
When it comes to sportsbooks, Bet365 has it all. Download the Bet365 app today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be located in Pennsylvania.
84 Lumber is proud to partner with Anderson Windows and Doors to present an all-new interactive showroom. Now open in Mount Lebanon. The showroom features an extensive selection of windows, doors, and accessories from Anderson. The space is designed for personalized consultations, so homeowners, builders, and contractors can work directly with 84 Lumber experts to find the perfect Anderson products for their projects. Visit the showroom at 1675 Washington Road, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. or Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Text us on the Edgar Snyder and Associates text line at 412-928-9370. Edgar Snyder and Associates reminds you to text responsibly. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, built by Window Nation, home of the buy two, get two free offer.
Visit the North Shore Tavern located on Federal Street right across from PNC Park for Pittsburgh's most memorable meal. Enjoy an array of delicious apps, entrees, homemade soups, desserts, cocktails, and of course, delicious steaks and seafood served on a sizzling lava stone. The vast menu changes weekly, offering something for every taste bud. Why not let their staff pamper you while you host a family or work event? The North Shore Tavern, a stone's throw away from PNC Park and Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone.
Buying, selling a home, Gina Giampetro is where you want to go. She'll sit down with you. You agree on a price and a deadline. If the deadline passes, the home isn't sold. Gina will have it bought and turned into a rental. Call the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home in Pittsburgh, Gina Giampetro of RE/MAX Select Realty. Call Gina, 724-602-9752. That's 724-602-9752. Google Giampetro of RE/MAX Select Realty and look up GinaWillSellYourHome.com.
At Bucko's Roofing, we're on top of it. Whether it's siding, roofing, windows, gutters, or insurance claims, you can count on Bucko's for quality customer service. Find us online and get a free quote today.
It's Pittsburgh's #1 roofing company.
Bucko's Roofing.
93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com.
Fan weather brought to you by Myers Law Group, Pittsburgh's choice for affordable legal solutions. Sunny skies, temps in the 30s today, then temperatures getting into the upper 50s for Christmas Day. I'll be on with you a couple more times this week. I'm going to host Tuesday night, 6 to 10:35, and then I'll be on the next day on the Pomp and Joe show, filling in for the guys from 10 to 2 on Christmas Eve. And then I'm going to enjoy some Christmas festivities after that. So looking forward to that and talking to you this week. Steelers-Lions today. Been talking about it a lot. I think there's two elements to this, defensively and offensively. Defensively, I do think, as we talked about with Jeff, it's a pick-your-poison kind of game. Do you try to take Gibbs out of the equation and what they can do in the running game? And it's not just Gibbs. I mean, they run the football. They run the football well, and they use their guys out of the backfield very, very well. I mean, they are masters at setting themselves up, whether it's Gibbs or Montgomery or whoever. They set themselves up very, very well offensively with their scheme. And Goff is a really good director of what they do. But do you take Gibbs out of the game, or do you try to slow down their receivers with Jamison Williams and then obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown? I don't know, because you got two good running backs, you got two good receivers. I do think with this team it is a pick-your-poison kind of game, and even at that, they're probably still going to score a lot of points. I think the Steelers will score points today. It's a Detroit group. They have a bunch of guys in their secondary that are on IR. Jeff talked about it. They have Avonte Maddox, who's a corner playing safety. They are banged up on that side of the football, and they are not playing well on that side of the football as well. I think the Steelers can get after them. I think they can score points. The Rams scored 41 last week against them. The Cowboys scored 30 against them. The Packers scored 31 against them. Even the New York Giants scored 27 against them and took them to overtime. They have given up a lot of points this season. Baltimore scored 30 on them earlier in the year as well. Kansas City scored 30. Now, those are some good offenses with some good quarterbacks, but I think the Steelers right now, as it stands, have an offense that is capable of being good. They have the weapons. Can they get their guys into the right spots? Can they exploit those mismatches with a banged up and thin secondary to win the game? So defensively, how do you pick your poison, and does the way that you pick it work? And offensively, are you able to get the ball down the field and score in bunches and score touchdowns instead of field goals? It seems simple enough. There's the X factors in it, turnovers, penalties, special teams that could come into play as well. But the primary means to win have to be finding out a way to slow down one of the big threats on Detroit's offense and then taking advantage of a really not so good defense. I think the Steelers do a lot of those things. I don't think it's enough for them to win the football game, though. Jeff talked about it, going up there, playing a team that is so desperate to get in. This game, I don't consider it inconsequential for the Steelers, but in the grand scheme of things, the next 2 weeks are really, really big. I do think that the Ravens will beat the Patriots later on tonight. However, I think for the Steelers, if they can win this game, boy, it's going to go a long way for them. I just don't think they're going to. I think the Steelers lose. I think they're going to lose. I said it earlier, 27-24. I think that's the final. I think they are able to somewhat contain, even without Watt and Herbig, they're somewhat able to contain Detroit offensively. I don't think Detroit racks up tons of points on them, but I don't think the Steelers do quite enough, and I think the Lions end up winning it late on a field goal, 27-24. And we come out of this game thinking, all right, that wasn't great because it wasn't a win, but it's also not disastrous as well. I'll be back with you on Tuesday night, 6 to 10:35. Looking forward to that. We have more ways to win coming up next for you. And then Pitt basketball against Penn State. Big, huge sports day today. Pitt, Penn State men's basketball, Pitt, Duquesne women's basketball, some rivalry games on the hardwood for you. And then, of course, Steeler football later tonight. Big Sunday night game with a lot of meaningfulness for the Steelers as well going on later, which you can hear here on Westwood One here on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. So looking forward to that. Thanks to Jeff for producing. Thanks to Joel behind the glass. As always, I'm Josh Roundtree. I'll talk to you next time. This is Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. The Bob and Joe Show, weekdays 10 to 2.
We got all kinds of treats coming on the show today, including our latest edition of the Limitless Express with Limits here. You know, we call him City Limits just as a matter of protocol, Tyler.
It's one of many nicknames that all of a sudden will come out of the blue, and you may be confused, but don't be.
The Limitless Wonder, Wonder Twin, Twin.
Mr. P, City Dweller. You can call
Limits.
him whatever you like. Even Austin, that's his name.
The Bob and Joe Show, weekdays 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Boney and Muller like to get the party started early. Join them every Friday for the PM Tailgate Party. A first look at all things football for the upcoming weekend. The PM Team Friday Tailgate Party is brought to you by Mike's Beer Bar, Saloni's Italian Bread,